As you understand, the panel of Eurasian topic consists not only of theoretical reasoning and discussions, but also from practical things that are being shaped up on a daily basis or on a day-after-day basis. We are discussing the projects that are ongoing and what goals we are pursuing. So I would like to Alexei Luptsov make an introductory address. Well, we are through with the theoretical part. Let's talk about the specificity. First of all, last year we had Eurasian Forum, which consisted 40% of declarations, which I feel it's pretty good, and we made declaration to bring information up to home to the decision makers, and it was the first step in the Russian Federation getting several grants when we agreed with our colleagues from Korchakov Foundation, and our colleagues were given opportunity to implement the project outside Russian Federation within the youth policy and interaction. Second is accomplishing the thing that we aimed at during the whole year to incorporate an annual event, and we decided to just team up with the Forum of Youth and Students. We decided to keep spendings under control, and the main thing is that now we're going to develop this site and start developing the organizing committee of the forum of the next year. As you know, the decisions taken last year headed that we are the working committee on meeting obligations given by forum, the previous year forum, and to giving us authority to gather ideas and process them in new format. Over 1 year that passed since then, we out of those ideas that were covered by the forum, Eurasian Forum letters, we processed more than 450 applications, and what is good that 307 out of them were positively approved, and we found partners inside Russia using our communication resource, or we recommended applicants to approach specific committees for support and methodological support. This is very uneasy to praise myself, and there is many applications, and the numbers are not of the caliber that we are targeting at. Much will be hinged on how we set the tone of the forum for the next year. At the beginning of our talk, I was saying that we gave you questionnaires asking you to put down your ideas, proposals, and leaving your contacts, because our forum of 2018 should be structured in a different manner. We will do our best to bring down the number of panel discussions that will be addressing our vision. Of course, the vision of the Russian Federation should be in the forum, but it shouldn't take 80% of time, that's for sure. It's very important to hear from you what master classes, what meetings, workshops, or cases should be developed to be addressed at the forum, so that the forum of 2018 will get the maximum scope of positive results. Last year, when we had forum, we We're using it as a site to execute bilateral agreements between different institutions, and we have to think what we add to address at the next year forum, not just multiplying the number of papers or white papers, and well, our approach is the following. First, we develop the minutes of the meeting, or rather the memorandum of intent, an MOI, and then we're just looking at what we can do, introduce, and what our potential partner. As soon as we feel that we are matching each other and we're dovetailing each other, we are executing the agreement. So I would like that the agreements like that I hope we will have signed, executed in 2018, will follow the same principle. During the break, I was approached by numerous colleagues who said that they had projects, ideas, and they would like to enter into bilateral agreements. So let's not postpone until 2018. After this festival, we will process all proposals made by answering these questionnaires and approach us so that we start this year, and by September next year we will have some tangible results to be ready to be executed as documents, and we will show the success rate of our site. Maybe you will have more interesting ideas how to conduct this forum. Maybe suggest different sections. We will develop the rough model, but if you suggest an alternative project, and it will run from September 4th to 10th. And let's think through together. So as soon as my colleagues give presentations, I will be ready to answer your questions. So we are keeping our words, as you know. So this is not application of citizens to just, some shady mailbox, and then in about 4 months the feedback comes and we cannot do anything. This is not us. Of course, there are some challenges, but we will find ways to resolve any issue, and we will find a partner for you to work out any project. Thank you. So when we hear that the word is given by an official like that, you should make use of that. So I suggest that you, those of you who are interested in developing the project, approach. And now the minute of fame, because the winners of competitions will be reporting about their projects. This is the grant competition 2016, so the Georgia, Hungary, Russia. So geography is patchy and speaks for itself. And skipping the beautiful words, I would like that presenters stick with the timeline, and I put it in my agenda 20 minutes for 4 presenters. We can expand this interval, but not by a factor of 2. And I'm giving floor to Latvia Representative Oleg Sednichenko. But are you a citizen of Latvia or not? I was told that the family names are twisted to sound. So you're Alex. Okay. Alex, not Oleg. Okay, the floor is yours. My name's Oleg, and I will be speaking about the Youth Bridge project. Although being a citizen of Latvia, the project was implemented in Great Britain. And I would like to start off with my feelings as a member of the project and application to the project, what benefits I had, and then I'll speak about the project. Today we have the first good day with good weather, and the people attending this forum can support that this is a good site, and in the next year, 2018, it will be better than 2017. How did I learn about this site? And in Great Britain, not many information is available, and in Great Britain, not many Brits were knowing about what happens in Russia. Jointly with the embassy of the Russian Federation, I approached the representatives of Russian embassy and asked them what forum is worth approaching, at which I can share my experience and get some feedback from people working in the same manner. I was suggested to visit Eurasian Forum. For me, it was quite interesting to get visas, telexes, and it was very exciting experience. And Молодежь and the officials were walking me through all the steps, because by myself I wouldn't be successful. So when I was putting my things together, I saw that I was just eligible to apply for grant in the Gorchakov fund, and it was difficult for me to find information, what contacts, who to work with, because you have many organizations and you use abbreviations, and even for people speaking Russian abroad, it's very difficult to decipher these abbreviations. So the main goal of the Youth Bridge, project, which I'm just about to tell you about, the getting popular among Russian-speaking youth and other young people in Great Britain, information about the fora that are developing here and about different social projects. A very exciting experience I gathered on defending the project when I just submitted it, because in Great Britain everything works in different way. You just fill the questionnaire, send everything, and then just got the feedback whether it's approved or not. And for me, it was the first experience of submitting project in Russia and defending the project in front of peer reviewers. It is an invaluable experience, and it was interesting for me and my colleagues. And it just happened that I was a winner of this contest and was given the grant, and it was very exciting. The Youth Bridge project. Why this idea was coined? There's no information, and the idea was to bring more information to Russian-speaking community to make this bond stronger. At the same time, we in the West, we have quite a few projects, but they exist, but the number is quite low. And those events that develop, we didn't have a clue how to access and participate in those fora. So the aim of the project was to find motivated Russian-speaking youth, providing them with young people with information, and setting up the communication line with the Russian party. I cannot tell you that everything went without a glitch. I was quite emotional after coming back to Europe from Orenburg, from Eurasia. So it was not taken, just accepted by the people whom I spoke to. I was just, speaking about that in a highly excited mood. So I decided to change the delivery mode, and I wish to bring more English young people. And over the time of the project, we took part in 3 video conferences one with Belarusia, one international video conference with Italian youth, and we managed to touch base with Nottingham students studying Russian to inform them about projects. So we approached the issue from various sides. And we managed to meet the leader of Labour Party. We informed him about the events happening in Russia, and I was bold enough to invite the leader of Labour Party to the festival, but he didn't manage. There were many interesting approaches. We tried to meet representatives of the Russian small business to find out what is interesting the Russian young people, not only to give them the opportunity and money to work in small companies, but provide the opportunity to spend time on non-commercial, commercial projects. So we visited different forums and started spreading information among Englishmen. So what happened in the end? In the end, we found out that the organizing committee did not work. So the young people, be them Russian-speaking or Englishmen, didn't know what to expect. The committee was idling. So we got information from the Gorchakov Fund and asked them, can we apply? And we got permission, and we set up a committee among activists and among those people who are, during 1 year, were helping us to make video, to set up the meeting with Rosatrudnic, and we were helping everybody on both sides, on Great Britain side, on Russian side, what to do, how to get visas. And until now, both the Russian and British people are calling me, asking me for assistance. And what I'm proud of, at the end of the project, we managed to select 2 representatives to a coordinating committee. One of them is myself, and the second person was also. So the coordination committee consists of 2, of chairman and secretary. And on December 3rd, we are about to have a meeting of the coordination committee of Great Britain. So if you have any questions, I will be glad to answer them. At the end of the day, I'd like to tell you that due to Eurasia and Gorchakov Fund, we managed to find very active people to inform them about the events in Russian Federation and to set up a coordination committee which is developing things to have the festival in Great Britain. Thank you very much. This is a good example of communication cross-border. So the word is going to Maria Romanenko.
Maria Romanenko, the representative of the Russian Federation. Hello. I'd like to introduce a green economy project which had become the winner at Eurasia Forum in Nuremberg last year. And this particular forum was a landmark of preparation for International Forum of Youth and Students. And my name is Maria Romanenko, and one of the directions of this project is creating the integration platform to work with scientific-oriented youth for forming innovative projects and efficient use of natural resources, renewable resources, and in particular lumber, and creating wasteless manufacturing facilities. Russia is very rich in lumber, and currently one of the main raw material for construction buildings like such trees like fir trees are very popular, and in spite of their high renewability, they are actually are used not wisely. And our purpose is to increase their qualities and decrease the price about by 20 to 30%. And except for that, this modified wood has many good features in terms of decorative criteria. And this kind of wood is fire protected. It belongs to Group 1 in terms of fire protection. And if it is not treated well, the economic and technical patents had been given to us. There are different materials from modified wood, fire protective screens, decorative elements, and elite furniture, fire-resistant containers. One of the main potential consumers of our production boxes for our ammunition is the Ministry of Defense of the Russian Federation, because these boxes have to be highly fire resistant, and together with scientific institutions, we have checked and tested these boxes for munition transportation. And they actually complied with all the documentation and requirements for manufacture and production of this kind of products. And if we're talking about parquet or hardwood, this is very efficient type of wood to be implemented in this type of material. It is reasonable to arrange the deep production of this sort of technology and to collaborate with other businesses and governmental structures. And in such a way, the project we have suggested creates a very high level of attractiveness to specialists with higher education and enables to develop a few bordering industries. And of course, we can utilize this project in many cities of Russia which are rich in lumber resources. I would like to pay your attention to the decorative features of this modified wood. You can look samples I brought with me. After our meeting, you can check on this and actually touch them. Thank you so much. It's not really only words. This is a practical implementation of such an important project. And I have a question. What education do you have that you are involved with timber and wood? And I have an economic education, economic and civil engineering. But I've been always involved in a bordering disciplines. In our higher educational establishment, there are many groups and clubs which enable us to work and conduct research works in various areas. And our peers attract economists, managers, technologists to their work. And I saw this issue. and I began attending these clubs. And as Alexander Pushkin said, beauty begins from the food. And I'm a PhD in economics now. Yeah, but you cannot get along without chemistry and physics. Yes, of course. And I had to get deeper in these details and get another higher education. Yeah, if we remember another classics of Russian literature, there are women in Russian villages. Okay, next speaker is from Serbia. It's a wonderful country who suffered a lot. We love Serbian people in Russia, and it will be 180 years since diplomatic relations between Russia and Serbia were established. Thank you so much. First of all, I would like to thank all our speakers and participants of Forum Sochi and Forum Eurasia. I would like to introduce my project, which won the first grant for foreigners in Eurasia Forum, in the framework of Eurasia Forum, Russian World Project. Russian Light. And this picture to remember our project, our partners in Belgrade, Serbia. This is Balkan Creative Group, and we are expanding our network due to the help of Russian colleagues, Russian Express, Russian Speech, and very well-known media in the Serbian Republic. And to receive this grant for this work, there was a colleague of ours, Anton Grablin, who is here in this audience. And on returning from the Eurasian Forum, we opened a contest for Belgrade students. And the Career Building Center of Belgrade University helped us in that. So that turned out a very interesting project which attracted a lot of young people to learn Russian. And we, during this event, we have taken advantage to thank those people who expanded Russian language and Russian culture in our country, such companies as Gazprom Neft and library which organized our lectures. 50 young people have received a grant for Russian language course for free. This place is located not far from Belgrade, and our media were broadcasting about this event, and it was introduced on a festival in Sochi, on our festival. And in Serbia, it was for the first time. And after that, we began studying. Antonio Labelic was reading lectures, and they had an opportunity to attend 2 times these classes to learn Russian in 3 groups. And they were preparing for an open lesson. We also had a big event related to promotion of the festival proper in a Russian home in Belgrade. And our participants attended culture programs and watched films in this Russian house. In the very end, we can see how our open lesson was performed. These are people who were the first level of Russian language. Boys and girls, we're preparing for this open lesson. We're reading Alexander Pushkin's poems. Also, they were preparing for Russian music. This is Katyusha song playing. Thank you very much. And I would also like to mention that this was the first part of our project. And the next level, we're going to organize Russian business language and lectures on the topics of Eurasian integration and Eurasian Economic Union. And in this part, we will need a particular help from you. Thank you. We'll do our best. Thank you. Thank you so much for your creative approach, Tamara. And Tamara, not by chance, mentioned Russian world and Russian light, because light is world in Serbian language, and this is a correlation of these two words. To see the world, you need to see the Russian light, and light is a key to actually learning the world and to knowing the world. And the Russian language is very hard to learn without Russian Federation helps. When you, if formally when you would come over to Serbia, many people could speak to you in Russian, and now many Serbian people speaking English. So thank you so much, Tamara, and we have a bridge to another speaker. Tamara is Georgian queen. Actually, I grew up on Georgian films and Georgian songs because I had a lot of friends, parents of this from this warm and wholehearted territory. And due to our chill and such people as he is, we will make bridges which will never be destroyed. Thank you, Archil. I'm not sure about bridges, but as for historical data, this is for sure. My name is Arshut Korolidze from Tbilisi, Georgia. I'm a scientist, researcher, and I'm learning and researching political history of the post-Soviet space. Thank you. I would like to thank Gorchakov Fund, and you will see my presentation on the newest political history of Russian-Georgian relations, Russian perspective. In our country, there is a very low level of learning, of knowing Russia. There is no opportunity to learn fundamentally this topic. And due to Gorchakov Fund, I will try to be brief in my presentation. Just in a few strokes. Why do I do this? I came to a conclusion. Unfortunately, a lot of what we read in the West, in Russia, many things are politicized and are not based on historical facts, but some fake information and reasoning. But there are a few aspects which are not well developed at all. Many of you might not know well this part of the history, and I would like to mention about that. Today, when we are talking about Russian-Georgian relations, we talk about Russia and Southern Caucasus, and it is closely related to Northern Caucasus, and so it is important to understand where are facts and where are fairy tales to build our relations up on that. At this point, briefly speaking, there are a few important moments, a few important issues. Many things are being questioned, even in Georgia. So it's very important to have a clear understanding of how Georgian and Russian parties really understand those processes which have taken place in the past. And if we're talking about the historiography, Stalinization and Soviet epoch, there were many processes in Georgia during that time which are not known in Russia. There's some gaps in history, no analysis of this contest. Everything is being assessed like if we are pro-Western, this is bad. If we're pro-Russian, this is good. And due to that, Russian politicians can change facts as they will. And due to that, our students, our children would read the history which is based on not on real facts, but on political manipulation. So we would like to create such a situation that any reader reading this historical facts would see the real reasons and see the purposes of Russia. There is a saying, it's impossible to grasp the mind of Russia, but I think it is possible to grasp and even describe it. Let's remember the problem in historiographics. It's important for Russian scientists because there are facts that we don't know of, and even Russian historians admit that. So we need to analyze it scientifically, and the works which are based on historical analysis are to be critical in this sense. What stage is our project at currently? We are working on it for 1 year. Unfortunately, I spent a lot of time for obtaining visa, about 6 months. I've been working on this project very actively. There are many people who work in this field, and I interviewed most of them. I have collected about 3,000 pages of materials. It's a great deal of material. And I brought it home to be able to analyze it. If I finished this analysis right now, I'm working on the text itself. So please be ready to read it in my book.
Да.
Well, as soon as I finish the project, I will disclose my findings. So once again, the importance of the project, I already said that, but I think that without thought through past, we cannot expect having a consistent future. Now, Georgia experts are not doing anything to understand Russia. Unfortunately, when I speak to Russian scientists, they are not willing to understand Georgian mentality. And now, a couple of words about hypothesis. I'm speaking about the recent history. Starting with 1991, with dissolution of the Soviet Union, there are 3 theories, and I won't describe them, but the Gorchakov theory, the concentration period, and the Yeltsin period is characterized by different functions when the attempt was made to gather the government liberal empire. This is when Anatoly Chubais, and then it was followed by gathering force by Russia influencing process, and in the 2006-7 when the conference, the Munich conference, Putin said in his famous speech that the position of Russia should be accounted for in international policy, and I want you to read in my book and read my findings in Georgian archives. Thank you very much. Archil is absolutely right. The roots of the future lie in the past, and weighty political decision cannot be taken without analysis of the history. Our Western partners are behaving themselves as an elephant in a fine china shop in the Far East and Balkan wars because they didn't learn the lessons of the past. And on myself, I'd like to add that you can come to myself as soon as we finish, and maybe I will recommend you somebody else whom to approach. So I'm sure that you don't have these people in your list of 12 names. Okay, I just put the timer and you were just fitting in time. Now we are coming to the next topic of our side. Information is very important. As you know, many words were spoken today that the media is delivering specific information. And for instance, the Georgian-Ossetian conflict obtained the high profile because of the media, and this is just two-headed Janus. This can be vox populi or information and psychological war. And on the other hand, there are many projects, and Russia is unique from this standpoint, which are shaping up the unique vision of our past, which we cannot look at without tears, and I'm referring to the Second World War years, so merging the work of journalists with media and work on Memorial March. Again, Lady Again, and I'm referring to Svetlana Konner, who is in charge of portal Switzerland at one glance. She's a coordinator of the Memorial March in Switzerland. The floor is yours, Svetlana. Good afternoon. I will do my best to be brief. 5 minutes is well. You have 10 minutes, not 5. I'm grateful to organizing committee and the organizing committee of the site so that I can have a chance to look at the people and who hear my presentation. And before I was addressing the Moscow State University, the University of Foreign Affairs, and I invite you to have a dialogue, and I can visit you and inform you what I'm doing in Switzerland, and this will be important for you because each of you is just a person who is bringing interests of Russia to your countries. Mrs. Glebova already mentioned that not any project is enjoys financial support, but I know that you are interested in your projects because you have this burning feeling inside you and you want to make the world better. The most amazing thing is that in Switzerland we have monument to Soviet soldiers. On memorial there are 20 soldiers who had documents on them. According to historical facts. There were 500 of such soldiers, and this is the third year running that we have a Memorial March in Switzerland. And I can tell you that I never thought that this event will come to Switzerland. Of course, it was incepted in Russia, and many million of people are supporting it. And now I'm a coordinator of international page. This year we had a Memorial March in Congo. Seemingly, where is Congo and where is the Memorial March? 10 people came to this Memorial March, bringing the pictures of their grandfathers and grand-grandfathers as participants of the Second World War. So there was impetus made to the society. I'd like you to see in us and grown-up people who came to this site, and this is a great honor, and this is a privilege for us to share experience. And I want not to share experience. I want to set up contact with you. There's a Twitter, Facebook. We are experts in social media. You can find us. You can establish contact with us, and I invite you to cooperation. So my main message is to write about what you are doing, write about your projects, to help you to promote your projects. It took us 2 years to promote the International Festival of Youth and Students. I compiled the list of journalists who were invited. So even if you are far away from journalism, let's work together, because I want to demonstrate that the Russian world is young, cool, exciting. So I'm open for contacts. Thank you very much. Amazing, just amazing, very laconic, and then it will be followed by work, to bring about the glory to the countries which we represent. In fact, we exhausted the agenda, so now the time has come to draw the bottom line and to have some good wish words, and then we will make a picture. And of course, the organizational subjects, well, as I dub it, will have to speak. Well, before we draw the bottom line, colleagues, friends, let us split our work into the following sections. If there are any suggestions, if there are projects worth discussing, I don't want to spend time. After session, come to me or just put your proposals to the mailbox. I think we have about 5-7 minutes. So if we have very exciting proposal, you can use this time. If not, after finishing, we can discuss it with you, and your proposals will be counted for. Anybody? At previous session, there was a young man raising hand, and I was a bit uneasy that he wasn't given time. Khudayarov Shakid, search project Kursk. So I'm keeping my hand up because in Poland, there'll be a law enacted on decommunization. According to this law, the scraping down monuments will be allowed, and not waiting for this law becoming in effect, the monument was scraped down, and I want those of you whose predecessors were taking part in the Second World War to get involved, because this event is not known. And the day before yesterday, Maria Zakharova was having floor, and she spoke about fake news, which are galore, and these things that I'm referring to are being made under carpet. So I'd like the Presidium to extent possible to engage into this process. Well, I promise you that Mr. Zemtsov, the deputy of State Duma Parliament, will be engaged, and he's in charge of the Memorial March, as you know. Now the situation is the following, that from CIS countries, due to not being informed or just the inability to invite youth or parliamentaries, we just want to engage into this. Well, this is a very important information, because this is we need this, not the people who died, were killed in the Second World War. Are they willing to take floor or make suggestions? Well, give the mic to that girl over there. My name is Yelizaveta. Good afternoon, and I'm representing our compatriots in Serbia, and I know almost all people who are speaking here. I know Tamara because she's behind this Russian house. I know Alex in Serbia. We have in Serbia the window to Russia, and also this search movement and the Memorial March, which is being conducted in Serbia. So I'd like to greet you, and I promise that we will be interacting. And if I'm not mistaken, because of your activity, I managed to come to this festival and to this forum. And in principle, I don't have any questions, because Serbia is informed and is engaged into different fora. So thank you very much for your attention. It's very pleasant when such wishes are extended. Next to you, there was a lady bringing up. This is lady, or my eyesight is not good. I'm great, Natalia. I'm living in Italy. I'm the leader of a youth movement in Venice in July. In last year, I was attending Eurasian forum. I enjoyed it very much. I hope that in the future, this will be an annual event, and I wish to send my countrymen to Eurasian Forum. But frankly speaking, I think it will be difficult for Italians to come to Omsk, because I had to spend out of family budget 800 euros, and I think it will be very difficult to find those who can pay such money. So one of the ideas is to come to Moscow and maybe to cover the leg from Moscow to Eurasia Forum. Well, can I put down in the questionnaire a minor comment on that? Accounting for the cost of airfare and the distance, due to decision of made by Mr. Bugaev, next year we will be having two forums. Eurasia Forum, as it was, it will be kept in the same format, but we will have the just meeting of the compatriots living abroad. So, and for the convenience, this forum will be carried out in Kaliningrad, the westmost point of the Russian Federation. It will be much easier for you to come there, bigger in numbers, and it will be yet another exciting site. Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Nikolai. I'm from Donetsk People's Republic, and I would like to ask you the following question to organizers of the forum. Maybe it's worth to set up a different site and discuss such issues like ideology or basic human values, which can be used to unite Eurasia or even the whole planet. Because the issues that have been discussed, the cultural, economical, economic, the practice shows, and the events of 2014 in Ukraine. Seemingly, there was a common culture, and the economic domain was common between Russia and Ukraine, and all of a sudden it was just torn apart. If I may, I will try to answer your question. In my opinion, nobody disrupted ties, and there is a work underway, and there are ties. And what happened in 2014, you saw it by your eyes, and I was visiting Donetsk, and very simple technology. 2,000 people just brought about coup d'etat in Ukraine. And the main thing today, and what we will be working through at the Eurasian Forum, two topics will be addressed: economics, developing the mutual businesses, and information. Not bringing together bloggers and speak, but how to bring on a fast-track basis information that that happens in Russia and in other points of the world. And I have to look through 5, 6 sources, not necessarily Russian, on any event, and then I will coin my standpoint. So these areas will be covered at the forum next year. And despite the fact that Mrs. Glebova said that humanitarian dimension should be covered. But today the main vector of development is not politics. It is economics. So if there is a mutual interest, if the parties are interested, then just, this is the success story. Two corporations, as an example, Daimler. Mercedes. Did they stop interacting with Russia or Boeing? Sanctions are here, but the businessmen saying we have multi-billion contracts, so we will be having business as usual. So the sites will be working, and if you have specific proposals, they will be discussed. Thank you. Thanks a lot. I see there is hands raised at Frenchman. I will read my question as my Russian is not good. In Versailles, at the meeting with President Macron, Mr. Putin said that he supports Marine Le Pen's idea to keeping identity of English or European peoples. So I understand that Russia has special interest in that. So my question is the following. Why to align this goal of keeping identity of European peoples with how to align this goal with the policy and with demographic differences between Europe and Asia?
Actually, it is not such of a political question. So you appeal to Mr. Putin, so probably he would answer your question in a most proper way. I'm not the president of Russia, but I would try to argument for this position. For centuries, European identity had been created, and it is characterized with a set of certain values and stereotypes. So, such as, it's a culture in a big scale, how to conduct business, how to communicate with people. It's a Latin culture which grew up from the Rome Empire epoch. Why do we have so good roads in the European Union? Because part of them are founded by Romans. This is just a small a historical excursion back in history. In the first part of our meeting, I remembered the words of Mr. Gumilev. Eurasianism implies not only this, but also equal rights of people, considering their cultural traditions and cultural stereotypes, cultural values. So European identity and Eurasian idea do not contradict to each other. Europeans are absolutely logically can be soaked by the Eurasian project as a whole. And that's why we say that Russia is a Eurasian country. First of all, but it's first of all a European country at the same time. It is the barrier of the European culture, but it is also closely related to Asia. And this is, from my point of view, does not contradict to each other. But unfortunately, Europeans are showing off themselves not from a from the best point they discredit some values which European civilization grew up with and raised on. And some of these is like multiculturalism. There's too many cameras around, so we can discuss this separately with you face to face. I would add here that to get the results on the issue you asked about, we need to meet more frequently. And most importantly, we have to change the word tolerance to substitute it with the word mutual respect. Thank you so much. Probably we are done with questions. And okay, one lady has another question. Will you give her a microphone, please? Good afternoon, Glukhovna, Sevastopol, Alexei. In the beginning of our meeting, you said about the necessity of a probable search for new vectors of Eurasian development for preserving Russian world. Our organization aims at increasing the culture of safety and security, and this is one of the priorities in our youth organizations development on the post-Soviet space. And considering such factors as big needs in culture of safety, except for these listed streams, we would also like to hear your opinion on this. I could tell that I completely agree with you. And how do we modernize and include to our forum agenda? It's your task. Technically, we are open to help you and how to arrange it to make it interesting and useful for other participants. Just think about it, and we will support you. Thank you. Thank you so much, dear colleagues. I would like to thank you so much for this opportunity to be here. And these few hours would not substitute the spirit and opportunities which our separate forum will give you in 2018. And I hope that most of those who attend here, we will be able to see in Eurasia Forum or Baltar-Tech Compatriots Forum in Kaliningrad. We believe that we will have positive results and we will be able to reach a lot. And the Federal Agency for Youth Affairs is always here for you, and we're ready to work for friendship, which gives the opportunity to work together and trust each other. and nothing will happen without it. And post-Soviet space, it's the only place in the world where really many strategic issues are being solved not around the round tables, but behind the scenes. And another important point regarding the post-Soviet space, we are practically the only people who can just call a person whom I know without sending letters and something like that, and let them help me. If we, due to our joint work, will be able to do that, we can consider that we did a great leap to make sure Eurasia is united and we avoid war. Thank you.